Hello, YouTube fans. This is Dr. Matthew Johnson. It is Monday, March 4th, 2019, 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And I drove all the way over here to visit with Cindy Johnson. She's my sister from another father, and my father ain't in prison. Just kidding. She's actually not my sister. We just share the same last name because the Johnsons are slowly taking over the world. But if you've watched past YouTube videos, you'll know that Cindy Johnson is our awesome cook for our weekend events, which will be coming up in June, July, and August of this year, this summer in 2019. And I got to come over here and eat some wonderful food that she prepared for lunch while we talked. And I convinced her to share her testimonial so you all could hear it because it's pretty incredible. So take it away, Cindy Johnson.
All right. Hi. I got to know Matt several years ago at the conferences, and then when he told me that they were going to have the overnight things at his house, I called him and suggested, well, why don't I cook and keep everybody there so that they don't have to go to town every time to eat. And so we got that going, and I've been cooking at every weekend thing during the summers, and it's been wonderful. We've had amazing people come, and I have met the most incredible people, and I love it. So I do all the cooking, most of them do all the cleaning, and then in the evenings we experience all kinds of cool things. And the things that I've experienced personally, a lot of little things, but the big things were the night that we did a night sit, and not much happened that night. And I went to bed. I had my cot at that time way down in the woods, kind of halfway down to the bottom of Matt's property. And I was all by myself down there. And it was about midnight, 1 o'clock, when everybody called it quits. And so I walked down to my cot and was just getting ready to jump in the bed. And I heard and saw two guys up the trail from me talking, and I thought it was two of the guys that I had been doing the night sit with, and I thought, well, that's nice of him to come down and check on me and see if I got home okay. And I was watching him come down, and I was trying to figure out who it was, and then I realized that they weren't speaking English. They were speaking something that had like little whistles and chirps, and it was, I immediately knew it wasn't English. It had to be the Xanue language. And as they walked towards me, and they looked the shape of two men, but as they walked towards me and got closer, they started to fade out until I could see the forest behind them. I could still see their silhouettes. And they were walking towards me, and by the time they got to my cot, to the head of my cot, both were totally invisible. They were still talking, and I could hear their footsteps and them stop at the head of my bed. And they talked again for 15, 20 seconds. And then when they stopped talking, I thanked them for coming and acknowledged that I knew they were there, and asked them if there was any chance they could work on me because I was having a problem with my feet at the time. I told them I'd really appreciate anything that they could do. And then apparently they knocked me out because I went to sleep, and I slept so hard after that that the next morning I totally missed making breakfast, and Matt ended up making breakfast and let me sleep in because they must have really did a number on me. I slept like a log. So that was my first encounter with them at the property. And several months went by, and I really didn't experience anything other than I could hear tree pops, and once in a while I could hear somebody down in the woods moving around. But a lot of the people were saying, oh, look at the lights. See, you can see the Xanue down there looking like lights and twinkling things, and they could see orbs, and I couldn't see anything. And the final, I think it was, well, no, it was August. I thought, this is crazy. People have spent a lot of money and come here, and a lot of them aren't seeing anything. And so I sat on my cot one night, and I didn't know if I was talking to Zorth or Contu or who I was down there. And I just said, a lot of people have been coming a long ways to come here and meet the Xanue people. And you're kind of subtle. I know you see little lights and things like that, and some of the people are seeing things. But you guys got to ramp it up because there's people here that have come clear from back east and they're not seeing anything. Could you ramp it up and tell the people that are here to be a little more obvious? And the next morning, when we had the testimonial that went around, several of the people said they saw big orbs and big things and people walking around, and just about everybody in that group got to have a pretty major experience. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And I think that same weekend that I was there, I woke up in the middle of the night and the whole canopy, and I was underneath a ton of trees, but I opened my eyes because I could feel something was going on, and it looked like a dome of twinkling lights as far as I could see. And at first when I opened my eyes, I thought, boy, the stars are really out tonight. And I couldn't figure out, well, I was trying to figure out, okay, where's the Big Dipper? Where's some of the things that I know should be there? And it was just a mass of little twinkling lights. I mean, as far as I could see, it was like a dome all around me. And then it dawned on me it had to be the Xanue people, because that just wasn't normal. And that was pretty exciting. And then I went to sleep, and I don't remember if anything else happened, but that really stood out in my mind. And then the final weekend, I think it was in September, my mom and dad got to go with me, and mom slept in the house and dad slept out by the trucks where we normally park the cars a little bit at the top of the hill, and then most of us camped down below. Well, this was a couple days before the actual night sit, because I go usually 2 days early and help get the food. I mean, I get the food ready and all that kind of stuff, and so I go out in the field and sleep by myself, but dad was sleeping up in the truck. And that one night, the first night we were there, I went to bed about 11 o'clock, and dad had been in bed since about 8 o'clock. And I got in my cot, and just as I laid down, I was going to start saying my prayers. And before I got 2 words out, I could feel somebody. When I sleep out, I make a bed on my cot. So I have sheets, I have blankets and everything. And I usually tuck the bottom blankets in so my feet don't stick out. Well, as soon as I laid down, somebody, and I felt it as real as can be, pulled those blankets up under my feet, rolled them up to my knees, and then laid their hands on both my legs. And their hands were warm. I could feel every finger, and they were so big that the hand went from my ankle almost to my knee. It was that big. I mean, it made me feel like a little baby. It was so huge. And then another one, and he was kneeling at the end of my bed, and another one was kneeling right next to me, and he had his hands on my stomach. And immediately when he started undoing my blankets, I sat up, and I had my eyes closed because I was going to say my prayers, and I kept them closed. For some reason, I kept them closed. And I said, I can't believe you're here. I was so thrilled. I said, you're here. You're really here. I know you're here. I'm not asleep. I haven't taken the pills that make me go to sleep at night. I was so excited, and I was talking a mile a minute. And as I was talking and explaining how excited I was for them to be there, both of these men started chuckling, and they apparently thought I was pretty funny. And I said, can I open my eyes? Can I open my eyes? Is it okay if I look at you? And that man at the end of my bed, he's chuckling, and he says, not just yet. And I said, well, it's okay, because I've seen all kinds of weird movies, and I've seen alien movies and all that kind of stuff. And we see all kinds of stuff that the movies go out. Nothing's going to scare me. Nothing scares me. I don't get startled by anything. It's okay. If I look at you, I don't care if you have 2 heads. It's not going to startle me. And both of these men were chuckling. And the guy again at the end of the bed says, well, Cindy, we may not look exactly like you think we're going to look. And again, I was saying, I don't care. It doesn't make any difference. Well, about that time, I could hear little kids giggling and laughing, running from my cot up to where my dad was, and then back. And they did that probably 3 or 4 times, giggling and laughing. And you could tell they were really little, like 3 to 5 years old. And as I'm talking that last bit, they came up to my cot, and they started feeling my arm and rubbing it like this. And then they kind of tentatively touched my hair. And pretty soon they were taking my hair, fluffing it up and giggling and laughing. And then something went through my mind. They're touching me. And I said, can I touch you guys? If I can't look at you, can I touch you guys? And the gentleman over here goes, yeah, you can touch me. And I went to put my hands over here. And at this time, I didn't know it, but my dad had heard me talking to them. And he sat up and looked down to where I was to find out who I was talking to. Didn't see anybody, but he just told me it's been, well, this is what, May? or March, and this happened in September. Well, about 2 weeks ago, Dad says, well, what I didn't tell you when I was listening to you, them talking to you, that when you reached your hands up to touch the guy over here, and he didn't see anybody, but he saw me doing this, he said, I saw two sets of arms, one of them guiding you up to where this head was. And he says, and that's what really threw me. And I didn't say anything because I thought, well, why am I seeing two sets of arms? Which really surprised me. But then again, I kept thinking, how did I know where this guy's head was? You know, I could have been over here, but my hands went immediately to his head. I felt him, long hair. His face did not have any hair on it, and he had a big grin on his face. And I was smiling and kind of laughing and knew that he was really happy, and it just made me happy. And I felt his huge shoulders, and then I felt this arm, and I felt it all the way down to where his hands were laying on my stomach. And I said something about, you know, if you guys want to work on me, I'd really appreciate it because my feet were just killing me. And I said, I really would appreciate it if you would help me because I've got a long weekend of cooking and things. So if you could help my feet feel better, I'd really appreciate it. And then I fell asleep, and they must have worked on me because I got up the next day and walked up to Matt's house and cooked all day and cooked all that weekend. Had a wonderful weekend. I was still in some pain, but nothing like I was when I arrived there. So they must have worked on my feet and made me feel a lot better. And another thing that happened just recently, I'm sitting here, I've got a walker that I have to use, or a knee scooter, because they just worked on my right leg. That summer that in September, I had 6 big screws in my foot, and I managed to break a couple of them. And so they just recently, 6 weeks ago, put 2 big steel plates on my foot and screwed them in to see if they can help my foot feel better.
Your right foot?
My right foot. And a summer ago, or not a summer ago, last January, the doctor had worked on my left foot. And my left foot, I have arthritis really bad, and it had chewed away all the joints in my left foot. And they ended up putting big rods, about that long, from my toes up to almost the base of my foot, and had taken out multiple bones. And when I'd gone in to see the doctor, he looked at the x-rays and he just shook his head and he said, when did this start? And I said, last December. And this was December 4th of, not this last year, but the year before.
2017.
2017, yes. And he looked at the x-rays and he couldn't believe that I'd done that much damage in 1 year. I had fallen, I think, 17 times, broke all the bones in my foot. And when I went to see him, he said he was probably, the best thing to do was to amputate it because it was so badly damaged. And this was at Virginia Mason Hospital up in Seattle. And I said, well, is there anything else you could do? And he said, well, we could try to fix it. That, he said, it would be a massive operation. He said, there's only 2 hospitals in the United States that would even attempt doing this, and we happen to be one of them. And so a week later, well, it was December, the day after Christmas, they went in and they put big rods in my foot. They put 5 of those in. They put screws on my big toe. It was just a mangled mess. And I had to be off it for, I think, 9 weeks total. And it healed.
5% chance?
Oh, yes. And the doctor said there was only a 5% chance of it working. He said, more than likely, we'll just have to amputate the foot. And he said, but we're going to try it. We'll see what happens and just go from there. But like he said, it was only a 5% chance of saving that foot. So I stayed off it. I did everything I was supposed to. And the Xanue came and worked on it. And
in September of 2018.
Yes, they came in and worked on it. And then the doctor looked at it the end of that year and could not believe how well it had healed. He was just amazed. Well, and he documented that it was amazing how that had healed, how well it had healed. He had no idea it would heal like that. And then when I had this other surgery on my right foot, the assisting doctor at that time, just this couple weeks ago, I went in and she took the stitches out and she asked, she said, what did you do on that other foot that caused it to heal so amazingly well? And I looked at my friend that was with me, and she kind of shook her head like, well, go ahead. And I said, well, I had some help. I had some friends work on it, and they happen to be called Xanue, and you probably know them as Bigfoot. Have you ever heard of Bigfoot? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, they have the ability to heal. They're real people. They're not a big giant ape or anything like that. They're people who have the ability to heal because they're very righteous and they love the Lord, and they have been blessed with the ability to heal people, and they worked on that foot. And she was dumbfounded, but she was not poo-hooing it or anything like that. She said, I'm just amazed at how well that foot her healed. She said it was like a miracle for it to heal like that. So that's just another testimonial that they know what they're doing. And if you're blessed to have them work on you, it's amazing. And I love the people. I've had many experiences in my own home of them being there. I have a full basement that I rent out, and the people that have rented out have heard the Xanue kids running up and down the hallways when I'm gone, and I'd be over here for surgery or something, and they'll hear them mimicking me whistling upstairs. They'll hear them opening and closing drawers, because I've told the kids that it's okay if they want to snoop around and look at things in my house, because they don't live in houses, they live in the trees. And I've heard them opening and closing doors, moving things around. I've had a lot of experience in my home, so I know they're real. I know they're loving. Every time they're around, you feel the love that they have for us. And I could go on, but that's pretty much the testimony that I have from being at Matt's house. And you guys that have doubts or questions or are looking for the truth, you really need to research Matt's videos, read his book. He's working on another book now, and that's where you're going to find the answers. It's not with these other people that still consider him a big giant mountain ape. They're so far off the point that it's ridiculous. And you guys that are researchers and trying to figure out what's going on, you're missing the boat. You need to look at Matt's research, because there's so many of us that have had these amazing experiences one-on-one with these people. It's amazing, and you shouldn't poo-hoo it. If you were smart, you'd come out and join us, but you got to have an open heart and an open mind. If you're coming closed-minded and with an attitude that this is a bunch of poo-hoo and Matt's off his rocker and stuff, you probably aren't going to experience anything. But if you come and you're willing to learn and have an open heart, and I would suggest that you were prayerful. If you're a Christian, talk to the Lord and tell him you want to know the truth about these people and you're willing to learn. And being teachable, I think, is one of the things that you have to be in order to experience this. So I'd recommend you read the stuff that Matt has written, watch his videos, and do the research you need to, but then come and experience it for yourself. These other places that you go to, you'll learn a lot of background and stuff that is interesting, but they're missing the boat. The truth is here. These people are here. They're working with us. They want to get to know us, but you have to be willing to be taught. So come with an open mind, an open heart. You're going to meet amazing people, people that are just wonderful people. I thought the first time I came that I'd meet a bunch of kooks, and it's nothing like that. These people are professional. They're amazingly learned people, but they have humble hearts. They're willing to learn. They're very teachable, and being teachable means your mind is open, your heart is open. You want to learn the truth, and you'll learn it. So I suggest you get yourself mentally and physically and prayerfully ready and come and share these experiences with us. You won't miss out. I mean, you won't be misled. You will learn stuff that will change the way you look at life. So just come. Just come. That's my suggestion.
Excellent testimonial, Cindy Johnson. Thank you so very much. I need to follow up with just a couple questions. So you were there May, June, July, August, and September of last year, cooking
Yes.
all this kind of wonderful food for
Yep.
everybody.
Yep.
And so you got to see how we did things 5 months in a row and
Yep.
interact with all those people. So I'm forgetting, did we charge them $1, $2, or $3,000 to attend?
I think they had to give you their firstborn and all their credit cards.
And bank account numbers,
And
right?
the bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah, the money that they spent was enough to pay for the excellent meals you get, and it helped pay for my gas getting over and back, and that was it.
Yeah, so
it was
we
nothing.
charged $100 per person, $100.
Yeah.
And BFRO expeditions will charge $300, $400, $500, $600. There are other people on the internet charging $1,000, or some recent kook wanting to charge $5,000.
And you get nothing, and it's not the truth.
And so, we upped it to $150 per person this year just because we went into the red a little bit last year. So people were saying you're not charging enough.
Yeah.
So we upped it to $150, which still
because they rent Santa cans, and that it costs money.
Exactly.
And it costs money and heating the house and all the showers and the hot water.
The wear and tear, exactly.
Yes, it's a lot of work. We start weeks ahead of time to get the property ready.
Right.
So it's wonderful.
$150 a person is reasonable, right?
Yep.
And so did we have people give us all their earthly possessions?
Oh, yeah.
Swear allegiance to, I don't know.
Have a hypnotist come in.
The cult leader.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful time. You'll really enjoy it. You'll meet people that'll be lifelong friends. Just down to earth, wonderful, wonderful people.
I agree with you. The people who were attending were awesome people, and we're going to have a lot of repeat offenders this summer. So a lot of people coming back. And one of the things, if you're new to watching this video, I would encourage you to scroll down to the oldest video and start watching from the oldest video all the way up to the newest video if you want to understand the journey. Also get your hands on my book, which is just simply called Bigfoot, a 50-year journey come full circle. And join our Team Squatching USA Facebook group. And if you want to come to one of our weekend events in June, July, or August this summer, just go join Team Squatching USA Facebook group and then click on the events page and click on one of the summer weekend events that you want to attend in June, July, or August. And you're going to, for $150, you're going to meet awesome people. Cindy Johnson, who really isn't my sister, but an awesome person, we just share the same last name, is going to cook awesome food for all of you to enjoy. So
we eat good. You will not go away hungry.
We eat good, we have fun, we sleep good, and the lots of people have had their lives changed, and they go away, and the local Xanue, once they get on the radar at our place, kind of interact with them at their place once they get back home.
Yes, many of them have said they've experienced things when they go home.
Yeah.
You will have a chance to actually experience the Xanue, whether it's in their light form, or you'll see shadows, or you'll, like me, I actually saw them. And you're going to actually experience things. So it's not a bunch of hoodoo and crap that you see other people charging an arm and a leg, and then all they do is talk to you and make you think. It's mass hysteria as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
This is a real experience. This is the real deal. There's nothing fake about it.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Cindy, for your time.
You are welcome.
And Cynthia and I are looking forward to spending time with you and everybody else this summer. We're only March, April, May, June, 3 months away.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Coming up.
Yes, it is.
Yep. I'm excited.
Okay. We'll see you there.
All right. Thank you.